Hello everybody, and welcome to my bathroom. This is the only room in the house that has good lighting at this time of day, so here we are. In preparation for conference, President Nelson asked members of the church to strongly consider what their lives would be like without the gospel. This was a really meaningful activity for me, as I contemplated the enormous difference that the restoration of the gospel has made in my own life. Lately, we have had to learn to live without the church, but thankfully not without the gospel. And there are many gifts that have been given to us which can help us tune in to our divine natures and remind us that we are children of God, even though we do not attend our usual worship services together. One of those gifts is music. About 30 years ago, I started my training as a choral conductor. I studied with Ronald Staley, who himself is a very accomplished and skilled musician, who was a stickler for detail. He insisted that we work extremely hard on every technical aspect of the choral art. But he never let us forget that good technique was simply a means to an end. He would often say, never forget that when your students have left you and are remembering many years down the road the hours that they spent in your rehearsals and performances, the technical detail is not what they will remember. In fact, they are highly unlikely to remember the perfectly paced crescendo or the exquisite pianissimo. They probably will not even remember the songs that they sang, but what they will remember for sure is the way the music made them feel. I've never forgotten this very valuable lesson. It is music's capacity to make us feel that draws us to it. And herein lies the connection between music and the spirit. How important is feeling to our spiritual lives and our spiritual well-being? Well, the Book of Mormon provides the clearest answer to this question, as Mormon describes the unimaginable wickedness into which the Nephites had fallen, committing every sin in the book. This is what he said of them: "Behold, thou knowest the wickedness of this people. Thou knowest that they are without principle and past feeling." It follows then that if feeling nothing is equivalent to being spiritually dead, those who are spiritually alive feel a lot. They notice and rejoice in what they feel. And for me at least, there are few things that make me feel more deeply than beautiful music. I believe great music opens the windows of heaven and gives us glimpses into a spiritual dimension which we are not able to see as a normal rule in our mortal lives. We see things that are closed off to us. We feel things that we do not normally feel. This is the power of music. As you all know, I was raised in Wales, which is often called the land of song. The Welsh people are famous for their love of music and especially for their love of singing. And although they are not technically skilled, they sing with enormous emotion. They are not highly trained, but they sing at every possible occasion. I can remember my grandmother telling me stories about her father and brothers, who worked in the coal mines of South Wales during the early 1900s. Coal mines were dangerous places where disasters frequently occurred. A flood or a fire could destroy generations of a whole family in one day. When such catastrophe occurred, a siren would go off, and this siren was loud enough that the entire village could hear it. When the siren sounded, everyone who was not actually in the mine hurried to the top of the mine head, and there they would wait, sometimes for many hours, sometimes long into the night, waiting and waiting to see if their loved ones would be rescued. And as they waited, not knowing if the men in their lives, their husbands, brothers, fathers, sons, were alive or dead, what did they do? They sang. And what did they sing? They sang hymns. And why did they sing hymns? Because of the way that the hymns made them feel. Singing hymns made them feel a closeness to God, made them feel of His love and care for them even in these dire circumstances. Singing hymns touched their souls and brought them comfort at this extremely challenging moment in their lives. Moments which often ended in tragedy and were full of uncertainty. What we're living through now is not as devastated as a coal mine disaster, but for many it is a time of anxiety and stress. For the time being, we are not allowed to attend our weekly Sabbath meetings, where we so often find comfort in each other and where we spread spiritual strength amongst the congregation. But there are things we can do to feel spiritually alive. And one of these things is to listen to great music. We're fortunate that the same technology, which has eased our isolation in so many ways, can also bring us an unlimited supply of music. I encourage you to choose carefully what you listen to and to actively seek music that causes you to feel closer to God. Music which reminds you of your divine nature. Music which lifts your spirit and feeds your soul. And I also encourage you to consciously notice how that music makes you feel. When the veil seems so thin and your heart is so full of gratitude for the knowledge you have that you are a child of God. And now I will end with a quote from a great composer. Following the first London performance of Messiah, the composer Handel was greeted by a patron who congratulated him on the excellent entertainment. To which Handel replied, "My lord, I should be sorry if I only entertained them. I wished to make them better." I know for sure that great music has the power to make us better. I miss you all. I miss going to church with you. I especially miss singing hymns with you. May you be well. May you be safe. May you have music.